Good morning, everyone. Today, I'll be presenting Jet3Holiday, an intelligent travel itinerary planner designed to simplify the entire trip planning process. Our team includes me, Gerald, Yixiang, Lihan, Jory, and Matthew. The core problem we aim to solve is how overwhelming trip planning can be. Planning a trip today is time consuming and fragmented, since travelers often juggle multiple websites for flights, hotels, and activities. This leads to information overload, scattered data, lack of personalization, and decision fatigue. By addressing these challenges, we make travel planning faster, more enjoyable, and tailored to each individual.
Our solution is Jet3Holiday, which is a smart travel planning platform that brings everything together in one place. It uses AI to automatically generate personalized itineraries based on factors like duration, budget, and destinations. It also introduces a 3D interactive globe which allows users to explore destinations visually and intuitively. Lastly, it lets users edit and rearrange their plans through an interactive interface, making trip planning feel creative and productive rather than tedious. Our key objectives for the app were to make trip planning simple, smart, and engaging through personalized itineraries, second, simplify trip planning, thirdly, centralize resources, and lastly, to enhance user experience. Now, move on to functionalities. Our key features of the app firstly is an AI trip planner, which generates a structured multi-day plan from a short prompt and return a JSON file and render into the editor. We also have a 3D globe which users can pan, zoom, and select destinations and open context card with summaries and images. We also allow users to have a drag and drop editor where they can rearrange activities and days and edit scenes instantly with stored data. Users can also sign in with Google, which is passwordless and enables secure login with sessions persist across devices. Also, users can share their trip via a trip ID so that they can share their friends and collaborate on the same trip together via a simple trip ID. We also enable users to search for flights and hotels via SERP API, where users can open the result directly on Google Flights or the hotel's website to complete their booking. Lastly, we enable persistent storage where trips and itineraries autosave in our superbase, where returning users can pick up where they left off.
I shall now go through the tech stack overview. Everything is deployed on Vercel, which gives us fast global delivery and effortless preview environments during development. On the front end, we build with Vite and React. State is managed with ZooStem, which allows us to keep global application state simple and predictable, such as authentication screens, selected or hovered cities, and responsive layout settings. For 3D visuals, we rely on Three.js through React 3 Fiber to render an astronaut and an interactive Earth model with city markers. GSAP drives smooth motion and animation sequences, including camera transition and the astronaut's floating movement. Styling is handled with Tailwind CSS, allowing consistent and efficient design work. The backend is powered by Express.js, acting as a secure gateway between client and external services. It manages API requests, protects sensitive keys, performs validation, and implements rate limiting to ensure reliability. For external services, authentication runs on OAuth 2.0. Google Maps.js provides interactive mapping and itinerary visualization. When users select a destination, we fetch contextual information and images from the Wikipedia REST API. For travel data where official APIs are limited, we use SERP API to collect flight and hotel information from Google in structured JSON format. Data persistence is handled by Supabase, which gives us a Postgres database with row-level security. Users sign in through Google, which issues an authentication token. Supabase verifies the identity and establishes a session, and each interaction with our backend is authorized before users can save or update itineraries. The AI agent is powered by Grok, enabling real-time itinerary generation based on user preferences and constraints. We then validate and enrich the AI-generated suggestions using live data before storing finalized itineraries in Supabase. Overall, The systems combine fast rendering, secure data flow, rich visual interaction, and intelligent planning, resulting in an experience that is smooth, secure, and designed to scale.
I will now go through the functionality diagram. Users begin by logging in with Google OAuth, which securely verifies their identity. Once authenticated, they can start planning a trip. They first select a destination, and the map centers on that location using the Google Maps platform. The app then enriches the view with a short description and an image source from the Wikipedia REST API and the Pixabay API. When the user requests an itinerary, their preferences are sent to the Express backend. The backend forwards the request to Grok model, which generates a draft itinerary based on a chosen destination, time frame, and travel style. The server stores the result plan in Supabase, so it is linked to the user's account and can be retrieved later. The itinerary appears in the trip editor, where the user can review activities, see suggested routes on the interactive map, and open destination cards for details and images. If the user explores accommodations or flight options, the app fetches structured results through Sub-API, which returns hotel and flight information from Google Search. All external services are accessed through the backend. API keys remain on the server, which keeps the client lightweight and secure. If the user signs out and returns later, the itinerary is loaded seamlessly from Supabase and the editing session resumes without friction. In summary, the user signs in, explores destination with rich context, generates a personalized itinerary with Grok, and reviews real-time travel information, all supported by dynamic maps, secure server-side integrations, and persistent storage. We will now move on to the product demo.
Right, as you can see, this is the landing page. The user will be able to play with this interactive globe to give them an immersive experience. As you can see, there's also the arms to simulate the astronaut. So the first thing the user would do is to log in, of course. They can log in via either their email address and password if they have an account already, or they can just simply use the Google OAuth authentication method. You can see we're going to try the OAuth method. Once the user is signed in, you can see this addition of my trips button, which will reflect that trips, and we'll show you this later. But as a new user, you want to create your first trip. So you click on Trip Planner, which brings you to this page. You can put in your origin country. For us, is Singapore. And for example, I want to travel to Bangkok. Okay, select Bangkok. And for the date, let's say I want to travel tomorrow for a week. So budget, I'll give myself around $3,000. And then for myself, I want to have a adventurous trip. And then once we create itinerary, you give this loading page. Okay, as you can see in the landing page over here, it gives you an itinerary. Also, you have a navigation bar to bring you to different days. And then the LLM model, the Llama model, has give you the itinerary based on its your input as well as your preference. So how users can navigate is, of course, through this navigation bar. Just simply clicking on the dates, you'll bring it to it. And on the landing, the map will also show the city that you're going. Once you click on one of the activities, it will show you the different places of the activities over here. So you can see we land in this airport, and then you have the place to Grand Palace, and lastly with Krakow. But for example, if I want to take this out, I can simply click the delete button. Alright, this will simply just delete it from my itinerary. And let's take a look at the next day's itinerary. We have this tool. Let's say I want to go to Khao San Road before this activity. I can simply just drag it up, put it in this drop zone. As you can see, this will also reflect on the map on the right side. And next thing, we also have this flight feature, which allows the users to look at the flights that is available. So I can simply book, let's say for example, I'm interested in this Scoot flight. You can click on the book item, you bring them to Google Flights, because we called the Google Flights API over here using SUB API. And of course, they can also filter this with the filter column. Next, instead of outbound, we can also look at return flights. This would give them the flights from Bangkok back to Singapore, so they can select on this as well. The third feature on this page is, of course, the hotels. This will allow the users to look for the best hotels, as we also call SUB API, and this will give us the list sorted by best to worst hotels in Bangkok. And I can simply, if let's say for example I am interested in this Platinum Suite, I can just book it. This will bring me to the website for me to book my stay at this hotel. As simple as that. Okay, so once I'm done, let's take a look at my trips. So this will be a consolidation of all the trips the user has planned. Alright, as you can see, there's the delete button if the user decides not to go on this trip. There's the edit button, which simply brings the user back to the trip editor over here. And lastly, you have this copy trip ID. So what this does is it allows the collaborative effort between different travelers, as most people travel in groups. So once you copy it, you can simply send it to your friend. And for example, this is my friend's account, right? And how I can add this trip is simply go to my trips. This button over here, add a shared trip. Simply click, paste the trip ID into it, add trip. As you can see, the trip will appear over here. And whatever edits made over here will be reflected in everyone's trip ID. So for example, I want to go to where? The airport railway station. Alright, I added here. So this would auto save to it. And for the first person, I can refresh it. Go to my trips. Access this trip. You can see that the airport railway station has been added. Thank you.
Alright, and with that, we have come to the end of our presentation. Thank you.